A very good morning to you. It is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. Krissy Vann joining you in for Emily Vukovic, joined with Tom Reynolds.
Yeah, it's the 20th day of the month, and it is ridiculously cold outside.
Yeah, and we learned dangerously cold. Little Elijah March yesterday, a horrific, tragic story. Our hearts really go out to all those involved.
Yeah, just a tragic story. And, you know, the thing is that you are outside and you're exposed skin, you're going to freeze. So it is very, very cold out there. Dress warmly. It's going to be a difficult drive again, likely, because brakes don't work very well.
Sure.
There's a lot of issues with braking and tires and things like that. So anyway, it's a very cold start.
Even getting started is really difficult. I know a lot of concerns even within our own building when people end their shifts, wondering if their vehicles will actually start because it's a struggle.
CAA is very busy, and you can see why with these temperatures. It's like a cold day, so you're going to have to, if you work outside, my hat goes off to you. You're going to need numerous hats just to stay warm.
Oh, for sure. Actually, I have a close relative that's a letter carrier that's still door to door, and I mean, they're out in the thick of it all day. So it's almost like you can't have enough layers, but even those little heating pads you put in your mittens can work wonders. So we're out in the thick of it yesterday, where there's actually many portions of the falls that are frozen. That illustrates how cold it is, but Tom, you mentioned it could cause difficulties for driving conditions. How are things looking? Sure thing, Tom. Only a matter of time for those. We do need to watch out, though. We do have flurries moving in through the overnight hours, and then into your Saturday, that's when we see through the afternoon and the overnight the bulk of the snowfall arrive. It's going to taper off by Sunday morning, but all said and done, a general 5 to 10 centimeters higher amounts along the Erie shoreline. So do be cautious if you have any travel plans through this weekend. Grasp still in full effect.
Winter has been just brutal. It really has. I mean, I think the falls is actually frozen right across, I'm hearing. In fact, the river may be frozen across as well, which does not happen very often.
Sure. The photos that have come out of it have been amazing. Krissy Vann joining you in for Emily Vukovic.
Yeah, and Tom Reynolds here, and it's a cold start to the day. Hopefully your car will start, and if not, you won't be alone, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, even those that have tried to escape to the south, Miami last night, and even I think currently 6 degrees.
Yeah, they think Miami might hit 5. I mean, 3 in Atlanta, and so it's cold all the way down through the Florida Panhandle.
Sure. I mean, not as frigid as it is here. We're still looking. When I walked to my car this morning, it was literally from my door to my vehicle. My hands actually hurt.
Oh, it is brutally cold out there. So, yeah, just have to dress for the conditions.
Sure. And I mean, we were talking about Niagara Falls. When I was driving along in the car, my steering wheel was still like frozen through the whole drive. So the question is if we will get to where we're going quickly. Thanks, Tom. And you brought up a good point there. Make sure to have your parka on, an emergency kit on board in case you do get stuck on the side of the road, because dangerously cold. Then as we head in through the overnight, the first burst of flurries will arrive. We'll see more substantial snow move in Saturday through the afternoon and the overnight. All said and done for much of the GTA. We're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters. If you're traveling along the Erie shorelines, expect higher amounts of 10 to 15 centimeters. Sure, Tom, and some good advice with the closures there. Check ahead this morning as there could be more due to this extreme cold. What's to come? Well, as we head through the overnight, we're going to see a burst of flurries moving in. And then as we head through Saturday afternoon and overnight, that's where we're going to see the bulk of snowfall from this next system. So right from the southwest into the Greater Toronto area, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters. And then along the Erie shoreline, some heavier amounts at 10 to 15. A little bit of good news with this system. Your temperatures are going to moderate just that little bit. It's still going to be cold, but not as severely cold as it is today. Looking ahead, we're dry as we head through Sunday afternoon into Monday, but by Tuesday we have another low moving in that will be bringing a little bit of snow our way. So winter not quite done with us yet. Do watch out though. That moderation in temperature only lasts into Sunday. By Monday, we're back into the frigid conditions. Minus 16, feeling like minus 26 in Toronto. Hamilton, minus 17, feeling like minus 27. So you won't be packing away the warm weather gear anytime soon. A very good morning to you. It is 6:04 on February 20th. Krissy Vann in for Emily Vukovic.
And I'm Tom Reynolds, and a lot of colds and things going around, and flus, and oh my goodness, poor Emily, she's had a cold for a week and a half almost, and just can't seem to kick it. So you got to dress warmly, try to stave off all these colds and flu.
No, and it's difficult in this type of cold. It's so cold, in fact, we're starting to get word of closures. I know Waterloo Catholic Board and Waterloo Public Board have shut down the schools. because the wind chill has just gotten to that magnitude.
What a good idea. Close the schools on a Friday. What a novel approach.
I actually had a girlfriend text me yesterday who works in the school board, and she said, what's the wind chill going to be? And I was like, I can't control the weather, but I guess it worked out in your favor for a long weekend.
An extra day off for a lot of children out in the Waterloo region, but it is brutally cold. I was out last night and walking the dog. It was nasty.
Oh, I know. It's like, it's less than 30 now.
Less than 30 days, so hopefully it'll arrive sooner than later.
I have had a countdown since winter started, in the home stretch.
We should put something up in the corner, clicking down.
That's a wise idea. I like that.
Days and minutes away.
I like that. And George Crunis were out yesterday there getting a chance to explore, and it looks absolutely amazing. The question, though, Tom, is the drive looking amazing to start the day off? Oh, I wish I had good news to share. We have a brief moderation, but we also have some activity on the way. In our overnight hours, we're going to see some flurry activity moving in, and then through the afternoon, Saturday, in through the overnight, we're going to see the bulk of the snow falling from this system. All said and done for the GTA in through southwestern Ontario, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters, looking to be on the higher end. And then if you're on the Erie shorelines, you're going to see higher amounts there at 10 to 15 centimeters. Could make for tricky travels. Thanks for that, Tom. And I do want to mention, even with the extreme cold that we're dealing with, there are now school closures in Waterloo region, both public and Catholic boards. Now, as we head through this afternoon, clear skies, they start to cloud up, and then we have flurries that move in through the overnight, and then the bulk of the snow from this system arrives Saturday afternoon through the overnight, and then starts to wrap up by Sunday morning. All said and done from the southwest right into the Greater Toronto area, we are looking at 5 to 10 centimeters, and you'll notice if you're traveling anywhere along the Erie shorelines, higher amounts there at about 10 to 15. So here's that system that pushes out Sunday. We have high pressure that moves in for a moment in time before this next low arrives from the north, and that's going to be bringing more snowfall our way by Tuesday. The temperatures, well, they moderate a little bit with this system on the weekend. You can see Saturday -5, Sunday -4, still below seasonal, but better than what we returned to by Monday. -16, feeling like -26. So unfortunately, we are diving back into that Arctic air. Hamilton by your Monday, -17, feeling like -27.
It's closer than you think.
Well, if you're heading south this weekend, here's what you are leaving behind. This afternoon, we are really getting into those severe wind chills through central and eastern Canada, remaining warm in the west above seasonal, but certainly not as warm as these temperatures. You can see we do have some cloud cover through the Caribbean, Nassau, 27 degrees, so the warm temperatures are in place. Meanwhile, into Miami, Florida, 23 degrees and sunny skies, looking like a perfect weekend to head south.
It's often in this time of the year that we start complaining about the cold and the snow, but the reality is exposure to these elements can be dangerous to your life, and we have more details with this story. A really heartwarming ending there, but of course our hearts go out to the family of Elijah March, where of course the extreme cold caused a tragic ending yesterday. We still have dangerously cold conditions throughout Ontario, right through southern Ontario into the southwest. In fact, Windsor, you have broken a record this morning at -28. Be very cautious if you're heading outdoors. What's to come? Well, we have flurries moving in the overnight, and then a system moving in to bring snow through the afternoon Saturday, wrapping up by Sunday morning. All said and done, the GTA is looking at about 5 to 10 centimeters, Tom. Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not going to get much of a reprieve. I do want to mention, obviously, these extreme cold warnings extend from the north right through the southwest. In fact, there are school closures in Waterloo region due to this extreme cold. Dangerous wind chills. As we head through the overnight, we're going to have flurries make its way into the GTA, and then we're going to see the snow system move in Saturday afternoon into your Sunday. It'll wrap up by Sunday morning, but all said and done, 5 to 10 centimeters for the most part, unless you're along the Erie shorelines, 10 to 15 centimeters. And then looking ahead, you do dry out for the latter half of the weekend, but a new system pushes in Tuesday. Well, if you can believe it, Friday, February the 20th, it's 6:44, and it's also extremely cold, Tom.
You know, I don't know that I've ever seen schools completely closed for cold weather, and they are today in Waterloo region. They've closed all the schools. Buses aren't running in Waterloo region because of the extreme cold conditions. So lucky you out in Waterloo region.
Anyways.
I remember walking 5 miles to school in blizzards.
Well, we do have those extreme cold warnings extending right throughout southern Ontario down to the southwest. It may not have you feeling spring, but I know Kevin Yard, well, he has a little bit of a spring-like assignment today.
He does, yeah.
Sure, Kevin. Excellent advice. And of course, a tragic story there. Now, Tom, is the extreme cold impacting anything on the roads? I know, when there's cold, always followed by snow, and such is the case this weekend. Friday overnight, we see the flurries push in, and then the bulk of this system arrives Saturday afternoon, lingering into your Sunday morning. So all said and done, through southern Ontario, we're looking at that 5 to 10 centimeters. Erie shorelines, higher amounts at 10 to 15. We look ahead, that system pushes out Sunday. We have fair conditions, high pressure moves in, and then by Tuesday, we're watching this next low arrive out of the north, bringing more snow. You get a slight bump in temperatures through the weekend before returning to a minus 26 wind chill by the start of your next work week. That we do, Tom. Dangerously cold conditions, extreme cold warnings issued all the way from northern Ontario right down through the southwest. We're talking wind chills into the mid, even high 30s. So with those negative wind chills, I mean, frostbite can set in about 10 to 30 minutes. So the system brings flurries in the overnight, and then the bulk of this system arrives from the south Saturday afternoon through the overnight into Sunday morning, bringing snow. We're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters from the southwest right in through the GTA, and then you'll notice some higher amounts along the Erie shorelines, 10 to 15 centimeters. The snow then moves out by mid-Sunday. We get high pressure in place, but then a new system arrives from the north. That will be a Tuesday story when it comes to snowfall. The temperature story, you get a mild reprieve, not mild temperatures though. You'll see -5 Saturday, -4 Sunday. Better than where we've been, but by Monday you return back to that -16, feeling like -26, and a -27 wind chill in Hamilton by your Monday. A very good morning to you. It's Friday, February 20th, 7:04. Krissy Vann joining you in for Emily Vukovic.
And I'm Tom Reynolds, and it is just brutally cold outside. In fact, they've closed all the schools in Waterloo region. I don't know if I've ever seen that because of the cold conditions. So you get an extra day off in Waterloo region.
Sure, and I mean, it's dangerously cold. We'll be diving into those extreme cold warnings and the snow that's on the way. But Kevin Yard we join now, who has made a very smart move to move things indoors. Thanks, Kevin. And if we're seeing motorcycles, that means, Tom, that spring must just be around the corner. But the question is, for those driving on four wheels, how are things looking? Sure do, Tom. First, we have to get through this bitter Arctic air. So extreme cold warnings extend all the way from the north in through southwestern Ontario. Dangerously cold, we're talking. So please watch out for those that are vulnerable to these conditions. By the overnight, we see flurries arrive. That's the preview for what's to come Saturday. We have the system that pushes up from the south, and that's going to be bringing the bulk of the snow through Saturday afternoon into the overnight, tapers off by Sunday morning. All said and done, from the southwest into the GTA, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters along the Erie shoreline, some heavier amounts at 10 to 15. That system pushes out on Sunday, and then you will be dealing with colder temperatures yet again as we reach the start of next work week. That it is, Tom. We're still on track to have the coldest February since 1937. Today, no different. Extreme cold warnings extend from the north right through the southwest. Wind chills in through the -30s, where frostbite can set in 10 to 30 minutes. We do have flurries moving in the overnight hours, and then the bulk of the snowfall, that's going to arrive Saturday afternoon out of the south, continues to fall through the overnight into Sunday morning. We'll be talking your temperatures and where they're headed coming up. Yeah, with the extreme cold in Waterloo region, both the public and Catholic school boards, they have shut down. No buses running because schools aren't open. And that's because of this. Extreme cold warnings extend from the north right down through southwestern Ontario. Windsor, you got to -28. So we're talking record-breaking cold. And as Kevin mentioned, frigid wind chills. We have flurries on the way through the overnight. A system moves in Saturday afternoon in through Sunday morning. Overall, the GTA, you're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters. It's Friday, February the 20th, 7:44, and Tom, our background here, a live shot, seeing the sunshine, but one thing's for sure, it's not warming us up.
Well, the sun's 93 million miles away, so it takes a long time for the energy to get here. And so far, it's just not doing it. So cold right down to Miami, 5 degrees, 6 degrees in Miami. I know. It's just ridiculous. Georgia's at 3, Louisiana, Kentucky. It's just absolutely brutally cold right over the eastern seaboard.
I know, even those that took to vacation in Cuba. Can you imagine your sunny beach vacation? It was 18 degrees in Havana and then a low of 14.
Yeah,
not so much beach weather.
Crazy weather.
We were minus 28 in Windsor, which is another record broken.
And minus 28's up through the Huntsville area and Muskoka, so it's just brutal. Throw in wind, you're still minus mid-30s.
Sure, so Kevin had the right idea this morning by sticking to the indoors. Well, there you go. Absolutely adorable with the little ones there. But next we have to get Kevin out there, Tom. We need to tweet him. Well, we do have a little bit of active weather on the way. By the overnight, flurries start to push into southern Ontario. And then we have this system coming up from the south. So Saturday afternoon in through your Sunday morning, we'll be dealing with the bulk of the snowfall. We're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters from the southwest right through the greater Toronto area. Erie shorelines a little bit more at 10 to 15 centimeters. You get a bit of a break as the system pushes out Sunday, Monday, high pressure, and then we're watching another system moving in for your Tuesday. Yeah, and the good news, Tom, our temps are going to moderate a little bit from away from this extreme cold, but we do have snow. I do want to mention we have extreme cold warnings extending all the way from the north down through the southwest. Wind chills in the minus 30s, so this is dangerously cold to those vulnerable to those types of conditions. And frostbite can set in 10 to 30 minutes. So really, we're all vulnerable if we have exposed skin out there. Looking in through the overnight, we're going to see some flurries move in. That's the preview of what's to come Saturday. Saturday afternoon, the bulk of the snow arrives, lingering into your Sunday morning. By Sunday morning, it tapers off to flurries, but by then, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters from the southwest right out through eastern Ontario and along the Erie shorelines, higher amounts, 10 to 15 centimeters. This system moves out. By Sunday, we're going to have clearing up, high pressure moves in, and then Tuesday is your next day. We watch this low drop down from the north, and that will be bringing snowfall. Looking at temperatures, this is what I mean by the moderation. By the weekend, it's still below seasonal, but we'll take a -5 and a -4 over this. By the start of next work week, we're back into the frigid wind chills, and unfortunately, you can see even in Hamilton, below seasonal. Well, as you saw in your Force of Nature there, we're still in the thick of winter. It's Friday, February 20th, and I'm Krissy Vann in for Emily Vukovic.
And I'm Tom Reynolds. And have you noticed that you've gone through that? I bought a 30-liter thing of skin moisturizer with a big hand pump on top.
I know exactly.
You're so dry. It's staggering how this weather just sucks the moisture out of your skin.
Oh, I know. I had a girlfriend that went to Cuba, actually, and she said literally the moment she walked out of Pearson, her nose all of a sudden started peeling. It was like instant.
Oh, yeah. This is awful.
Yeah, we have extreme cold warnings that extend dangerously cold. In fact, Waterloo region, I know they close both the public and Catholic schools.
You know, they cancel recesses, of course, when it gets cold. You might as well cancel the rest of the day because they can't concentrate anyway. It's too cold.
Sure, but one place where is not cold, it is exciting, is where we're joining Kevin Yard at the Motorcycle Show. Thanks, Kevin. Safety definitely needs to be kept top of mind when you're on two wheels. But, Tom, how are things looking out on the roads this morning? Sure, Tom, and we could have some tricky travels as we head through the overnight. Some flurries are going to move through the GTA. That's the preview. The bulk of the system comes up from the south Saturday afternoon into the overnight into Sunday. We are dealing with snow. We're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters through the greater Toronto area, right through the east, higher amounts along the Erie shorelines, and then a fresh system is going to be arriving around Tuesday, bringing more snow your way. Thanks, Kevin. And an indoor activity, a good plan there. As you can see, we have extreme cold warnings extending from the north through the GT right down to the southwest part of the province. And as Kevin mentioned, wind chills into the -30s, dangerously cold. Sadly, we've already had quite a few fatalities from the cold this year. Looking into the overnight, we have flurries pushing in, and then Saturday afternoon in through Sunday, that's where the bulk of the system moves up from the south, and that is going to be bringing snowfall. We are looking at 5 to 10 centimeters from southwestern Ontario through the GTA, right out through eastern Ontario, higher amounts through the Erie shorelines. There sure is. First, we have to battle through these extreme cold warnings, dangerously cold from northern Ontario right through to the southwest, so widespread, and that's due to the frigid wind chills. We have flurries moving in overnight, and then the bulk of the system arrives Saturday afternoon into Sunday. That is going to be bringing the GTA 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. Incredible footage there in your force of nature. Krissy Vann and Tom Reynolds with you. Tom, when you saw the footage there of Australia, I was actually just conversing with a friend of mine. He works on a cruise ship, Rhapsody of the Seas, that was actually pretty much caught in that cyclone sandwich.
Right.
And basically he said they're good, but it was insanely choppy. Portholes were all closed. I've actually been around a cyclone in Australia like that on a ship. It's a terrifying situation.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got deep water, huge. Then when it hits the reef too, it really tends to draw up an awful lot of water. So it could be a dangerous situation being in cruise ships in that area.
Sure, and I mean dangerous as well as the cold we're experiencing here at home in Ontario. We have extreme cold warnings extending all the way from the north right through to southwestern Ontario. We've had fatalities already this year.
Yeah, it's certainly under this freeze, so it's going to be a cold one.
And I mean, it's a sign that spring not exactly around the corner.
28 days away.
There you go, 28 days. Kevin Yard, I don't know if it'll be bike weather in 28 days, but how are things shaping up indoors at the motorcycle show? Well, there you go. Lots of excitement at the motorcycle show, but how are things tapering off on the roads there, Tom?
All I can say is sold. I'll take that one. Right now, if you're heading out onto the highways, well, it's looking not bad.
Krissy Vann and Dr. Doug Gillum joining you. We have been dealing with frigid conditions, and I know a lot of us have been thinking, this is the coldest I've ever felt, and quite possibly that might be the reality.
Yeah, it's not your imagination. This is significantly colder than we were last February, and we're on track to have the coldest February on record in Toronto as we look ahead to the pattern for next week. The all too familiar map, February not go above freezing.
Sure, and I mean, we were talking ahead of the hit here, and basically I was like, I can't remember the last time I've looked forward to the freezing mark.
Right, while that is actually still below seasonal, it will feel balmy. So it relaxes a bit, but still no sign of reversing the pattern into a mild stretch of weather. And Sunday, falling temperatures. Our high temperature that you see is a pre-dawn high on Sunday. Temperatures fall through the day, blustery. Then Monday is going to be a lot like Thursday and Friday. Its temperatures highs only around -16.
Sure, so I guess the moral of the story, enjoy those -4s, -5s. I know we have a system moving through the weekend, but what's coming up here on Tuesday?
Yeah, this system won't bring as much snow as the Saturday night system, which is 5 to 10 centimeters. This system for Tuesday is only about 5 centimeters. The key there will be the blowing snow. Winds will be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour, even higher. That will impact your Tuesday evening commute, and then the snow showers may linger into Wednesday morning, and once again falling temperatures, and then Thursday and Friday once again frigid, maybe a little recovery as we go into next weekend.
Well, there you go. So the cold is here to stay, so don't put away that winter gear. It's Friday, February 20th. If you can believe it, only 8 more days in the month. And at Toronto Pearson International, we are on track for the coldest February since 1937. That could mean the coldest February you have had in your lifetime. And today, I mean, it is frigid. I know the schools have shut down. This may have you thinking of spring, which I'd love to remind you. We're just around 30 days away. And Kevin, you have a very spring-like assignment today. Thanks, Kevin. And I'm a motorcycle enthusiast myself. I know we're all on the countdown for the season. I think we still have a ways to go, though. I mean, there's a Friday the 13th in March, but I don't know if it'll be warm enough for Dover. And yeah, you can see there the flurries icon. Those flurries are going to move in through the overnight hours. That's the preview for what's to come this weekend. The system pushes up from the south. So Saturday afternoon in through your overnight hours, that's when the bulk of the snowfall will arrive. You can see 5 to 10 centimeters from the southwest through the GTA right into eastern Ontario. Along the Erie shorelines, we have some higher amounts of 10 to 15 centimeters that will fall. Looking ahead, this all pushes out by Sunday afternoon. Things are going to be cleared up for you. We have high pressure that's in place. And then Tuesday, we have this system that comes down from the north, and that's going to be our next snowmaker. Temperatures, they moderate a little bit through the weekend, still below seasonal at -5, -4, and then back to the frigid temperatures for the start of your work week, Toronto, where you'll be feeling like -26. Thanks, Kim. It's Friday, February the 20th. We may be edging closer to spring, but it's feeling anything but we take a look back at yesterday. We are looking at extreme cold warnings issued by Environment Canada. They extend all the way from the north right down through the southwest. We're talking wind chills in through the -30s. That means frostbite can set in about 10 to 30 minutes. Looking ahead, we're going to see increasing cloud through the day today. Some flurries arrive in the overnight, and then we have a system that arrives from the south that will bring the bulk of the snow through the afternoon Saturday, tapering off by Sunday morning. All said and done, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters from the southwest right in through the Greater Toronto area, and you are looking at the Erie shorelines, those darker blues, 10 to 15 centimeters. That system pushes out mid-Sunday. We get high pressure in place before we watch the next system arrive. That one's going to be coming out of the north and bringing more snow on Tuesday into Wednesday. Let's look at your temperatures, though. You can see a little bit of an improvement through the weekend at -5, -4, but by the start of next work week, back into the frigid cold where you'll be -16, feeling like -26. Thanks, Kim. It's Friday, February the 20th. We may be edging closer to spring, but it's feeling anything but. We take a look back. They extend all the way from the north right down through the southwest.
Cialis. Ask your doctor.
Thanks, Mark. That actually hits close to home. I had that happen to me last weekend. I literally had to back up my driver's seat, and I was just sitting in my driver's seat with my scraper on the inside, scraping the inside of my windshield. None too fun, but what is fun? Motorcycles. Now, Kevin, I know we have another Port Dover Day coming up Friday the 13th in March. Probably going to be a bit too frigid, but give us a little taste of what's to come for spring. Looks good, Kevin. I've actually ridden on a Gixxer 1000. Super fun, but if you took it out today, wow, that wind chill would be wicked. There's some flurries arrive. We're going to talk about that snowfall in just a moment here, but I do, as much as we're complaining about the cold, it's dangerously cold. There have already been fatalities through this season, so we have extreme cold warnings that extend through northern Ontario, right down through southwestern Ontario. We're talking wind chills getting into the -30s, and that's where your skin can get frostbitten if it's exposed in about 10 to 30 minutes. Let's talk the snow for the weekend, though. It all pushes in through the overnight, your preview of flurries. And then we have the system that comes up from the south Saturday afternoon in through your overnight hours. That is where the bulk will fall. It tapers to flurries by Sunday morning. Snowfall amounts, I mean, enough to disrupt your travel plans from southwestern Ontario through the GTA, pushing into the east 5 to 10 centimeters. We're looking at higher amounts along the Erie shorelines, could get to 10 to 15. That all pushes out by Sunday afternoon. We do dry out into Monday, but we do have another system that we're watching move in Tuesday, and that will be bringing more snow. Winter's frigid grasp continues to grip right through Ontario. Sadly, yesterday was a very tragic day when it came to the extreme cold. Of course, Elijah March, the little 3-year-old boy, did get out wandering and sadly passed. You can see as we look back to yesterday, I mean, and into your Saturday. Let's talk these extreme cold warnings, though, because it is dangerous out there. I mean, from the north right down through the southwest. I know Windsor, it looks like you broke a record today with a core temp this morning of -28. As we head through this afternoon, we're going to see a little bit more cloud cover move in, and then in the overnight, the first batch of flurries arrive. This is your preview to the system coming up from the south. So afternoon Saturday into the overnight, that's when the bulk of this will be falling. You can see from the southwest in through the GTA right out to the east, we're looking at 5 to 10 centimeters. So a fairly widespread snow event. Along the Erie shorelines, that's where we're looking at higher amounts of 10 to 15 centimeters. That all pushes out Sunday. So mid-Sunday, you clear up, high pressure moves in, and then we're watching another system that's popping up from the north, and that's going to be impacting you into your Tuesday. Now, interesting to note with your temperatures, yes, you're going to moderate a little bit through the weekend, still below seasonal, but a lot better than where we are. -5 Saturday, -4 Sunday, but then you'll see by the start of next work week, we're back into the frigid conditions, a wind chill feeling like -26 in Hamilton as well, gets into those very cold conditions by Monday where it will feel like -27, but sunshine.